A loud bang on the hydrophones, loss of transducer or transponder, loss of comms. I knew what happened. Sub imploded. I sent emails to everybody. I know, I said we've lost some friends. The sub has imploded. It's on the bottom in pieces right now. Oceangate shouldn't have been doing what it was doing. I think that's pretty clear. In the vast waters of the North Atlantic, a daring voyage commenced on the eve of June 18, 2023, the Titan submersible. A marvel of engineering took to the sea off the rugged coast of Newfoundland, Canada, bearing a crew of 5 adventurous souls. Their mission was to journey beneath the waves and catch a glimpse of the haunting remains of the shipwrecked Titanic. Little did they know that their expedition would soon take an unexpected turn, plunging them into a chilling nightmare. 5 spirited individuals stepped into the belly of the Titan submersible. Their eyes reflecting the same spark of audacious curiosity. At the helm stood a remarkable man named Stockton Rush, a maverick pilot and the founder and CEO of Oceangate Expeditions. Stockton, with his roots in the aerospace industry and a deep passion for uncharted depths, was no ordinary engineer. Oceangate Expeditions, Stockton's brainchild, had come into existence in 2009. However, it was not until 2021 that they began offering Titanic expeditions to thrill-seeking patrons. The company had mustered nearly $37 million in fundraising, including a new investment of $18 million to launch the Titanic expeditions. Stockton's adventurous spirit was highlighted in a 2022 interview where he boldly stated, "If you just want to be safe, don't do anything. At some point, you have to take some risks." He even questioned the convention of safety itself, considering it a pure waste, described as a daredevil inventor by a 2009 Smithsonian Magazine piece. Stockton had a reputation for pushing boundaries. He criticized the U.S. Passenger Vessel Safety Act of 1993 for stifling commercial innovation by overemphasizing passenger safety. His avant-garde mind and unconventional approach were evident in the design and controls of the Titan submersible. Riding alongside Stockton was Hamish Harding, a 58-year-old British billionaire with an insatiable thirst for extreme adventures. Harding, a globetrotter who had journeyed to the South Pole with Buzz Aldrin, held 3 Guinness World Records, including a 4-hour drive to the Mariana Trench's abyss. He had also joined the 60-strong crew of Blue Origin's suborbital flight. Harding was a force of nature, an aviation enthusiast, skydiver, and a 2022 inductee into the Living Legends of Aviation, sharing the honor with space moguls like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Richard Branson, and A-listers like Tom Cruise and Harrison Ford. The third occupant of the Titan was Paul Henry Nagila, a vulnerable 77-year-old former French Navy commander and an expert in deep-sea exploration. Nagil had made 35 dives to the Titanic wreck and was an authority on the infamous shipwreck. He held the position of Director of Underwater Research at RMS Titanic Incorporated. The firm with salvage rights to the Titanic was also part of the team that located the vanished Air France Flight 447 over the Atlantic. Joining this illustrious crew was Zada Dawood, a 48-year-old Pakistani-British entrepreneur and philanthropist, and his teenage son, Suleiman Dawood. Zada led the colossal and growing Dawood Corporation back home and also sat on the board for his family's foundation and the SETI Institute, renowned for its search for extraterrestrial life. These 5 passengers aboard the Titan shared a profound connection, an insatiable interest in the deep sea, and significant achievements in aerospace and sea exploration, coupled with the financial means to chase these passions. Oceangate's Titanic expeditions came with a hefty price tag of up to $250,000 per person. However, the firm's mission was more than just catering to deep-sea tourism. They aspired to advance research on the wreck and its surrounding debris, unveiling the mystery shrouding the deep sea. The Titanic wreck site is a perilous and unpredictable place. Dick Barton, the first British man to dive the Titanic, described the consistent ebb and flow of water currents and the immense power required to stay on track. Power conservation becomes critical. When buried deep in the ocean, your power becomes your lifeline and your guide. The situation down there becomes critical. If a calamity forces the crew to vacate the pod on the sea floor. Simon Box, All a renowned oceanography expert painted a grim picture of the pressure at 3,800 meters beneath the surface. Its extraordinary escape attempts at such depths would last a mere fraction of a second if an issue occurs at that depth. Rescuing the submersible and its occupants necessitates rising the vessel back to the surface, operating in international waters. The Titan was free from any safety regulations and carried no seaworthiness certification from any authority. David Pogue, a reporter who undertook the expedition in 2022, revealed that the Titan passengers must sign a waiver, acknowledging the experimental nature of the vessel. The waiver explicitly states the potential risks involved, including physical harm, disability, emotional distress or even death. Mike Reese, a TV producer and another expedition participant, noted the ominous repetition of the word death 3 times. On the first page of the waiver, the Titan had already made 3 expeditions to the Titanic wreck site and concerns about its safety had been raised before during one dive. In 2022 the ship lost communication, raising questions about the reliability of the Titan submersible. David Pogue's report commented on Stockton Rush's innovative approach to the controls of the Titan using a video game controller. Stockton had designed a system that tricked many people. Pogue admitted that he didn't know if it was a serious thing or a joke. The Logitech Bluetooth game controller was used to steer and pitch the submersible while construction pipes were utilized as ballast. Stockton's MacGyver-like ingenuity kept the expedition going. However, there were other issues encountered during the dive. One of the thrusters of the Titan was accidentally installed backward, causing the submersible to spin in circles when attempting to move forward near the sea floor. As documented in a BBC documentary called Take Me to the Titanic, the issue was bypassed by using a steering wheel and holding the game controller sideways. The Titan, a petite teardrop-shaped submersible, lacked the prowess of a naval submarine at 22 feet long. It had room for 5 occupants but lacked traditional seats. Instead, it featured a tiny toilet and a singular porthole window. Its scale and design made it unsuitable for prolonged underwater stays or unassisted port arrivals, necessitating constant vessel support during their journey on the Titan. Passengers were handed sandwiches and water for the 10-hour-long journey, which allotted them a mere 20 minutes to witness the Titanic wreckage. Curiously, one of the passengers noted that the compass behaved erratically throughout the entire voyage. The Titan's deep-sea pursuits ruled out the use of GPS, relying instead on a text messaging system to communicate with the mothership. The Polar Princess, the stark reality of life support on the Titan was its limited oxygen reserves, just 96 hours. If the submersible went missing in the ocean, a life support countdown would begin in case of an emergency inside the sub. There was no way for the crew to exit on their own. The submersible was sealed from the outside and a rescue vessel would be the only hope. Despite these risks and the unconventional nature of the expedition, the Titan continued to draw adventurers and explorers who yearned for a glimpse into the depths of history. The passion and determination of the crew, coupled with their diverse backgrounds, ignited a sense of camaraderie among them. They were united in their quest to uncover the secrets of the Titanic and explore the uncharted territories of the deep sea. And so as the Titan descended deeper into the abyss, the crew prepared themselves for what awaited them: the haunting and tragic beauty of the Titanic wreck. With each passing moment, they felt a mix of trepidation and excitement, knowing that they were about to embark on a journey that few had ever experienced. Little did they know that their expedition would not only test their limits but also reshape their understanding of the deep sea and the mysteries it held. As the Titan dived further into the darkness, the echoes of the Titanic's tragic past resonated in the depths. The crew held their breath, ready to bear witness to history and confront the unforeseen challenges that awaited them. It was a voyage of discovery, danger, and the indomitable spirit of human exploration, an odyssey that would be etched in their memories forever. But it didn't end there. Let's travel back to the year 2018, when the excitement surrounding Oceangate's ambitious project, Titan, started to draw concerns. William Connon, a respected member of the international industry group, penned a letter to Stockton Rush, the mastermind behind Titan. The letter highlighted unanimous worries about the development of Titan and its proposed expeditions to the Titanic wreckage. The industry's primary concern was Oceangate's experimental approach, which had the potential for both minor setbacks and catastrophic outcomes. The lack of oversight and disregard for established safety standards raised red flags among industry experts. Normally, agencies like the American Bureau of Shipping and DNV in Europe oversee and certify structures such as ships and submarines. However, Oceangate's solitary approach to the project without formal oversight left many in the industry alarmed. William Conan had a conversation with Stockton Rush, where they agreed to disagree on the matter. It was clear that regulatory bodies often lag behind new innovations, and striking a balance between progress and safety was a challenge faced by many industries, but one voice that couldn't be ignored was David Lockridge, Oceangate's former director of marine operations and an experienced submarine pilot. In a 2018 lawsuit, Lockridge claimed that he was fired after voicing safety concerns about Titan, particularly regarding the inadequate testing of its carbon fiber hull. Lockridge advocated for engaging a classification agency for inspection and certification, but his warnings fell on deaf ears. His dismissal followed his attempt to address these issues. In a report, Oceangate countered Lockridge claims, stating that they relied on acoustic tests to detect safety issues. They accused Lockridge of contract violation, arguing that he was not an engineer and disregarded assurances from the lead engineer about sufficient testing. The case was eventually settled out of court in 2018, leaving lingering doubts about the safety of Titan. Fast forward to June 19, 2023. The world held its breath as the deep-sea submersible Titan prepared for its descent to the historical remnants of the Titanic. The excitement and anticipation were palpable as the team embarked on their extraordinary journey. By 8 a.m. Eastern Time, the submersible initiated its estimated 2-hour descent towards the site as the submersible ventured deeper into the ocean abyss. A chilling sense of dread began to creep, and the vast, crushing depths seemed to close in on them, threatening to ensnare them within the metallic confines of the submersible. At 9:45 a.m. Eastern Time, communication between the submersible and the surface vessel abruptly ceased. The once thriving exchange of messages now gave way to an eerie silence. An hour and 45 minutes into their descent, contact with the outside world was lost. The submersible, which had symbolized discovery and adventure, now felt like an underwater prison. Fear surged through the crew as the reality of their predicament set in. What was supposed to be an exciting expedition had taken a nightmarish turn, with a shadow of death looming ominously over them in the aftermath of the lost communication. An urgent search and rescue mission was launched. The United States Coast Guard, based in Boston, swiftly responded to the assistance request made by the Joint Rescue Coordination Center, Halifax. The Royal Canadian Air Force joined forces with the U.S. Coast Guard, deploying aircraft and sonar buoys to aid in the search. However, the rescue efforts were hindered by low visibility weather conditions, making the operation even more challenging. The clock was ticking, and every moment that passed heightened the urgency of the situation. The vast expanse of the ocean seemed to mock their efforts, testing the limits of the expertise and resources of the United States Coast Guard. The search mission spanned a massive 10,000 square miles of sea as every effort was made to locate the missing submersible, but the challenges mounted. The remoteness of the location, inclement weather, darkness, rough sea conditions, and frigid water temperatures all conspired against the rescuers. It was a race against time and nature. Typically, submersibles are equipped with acoustic beacons that emit underwater sounds, aiding rescuers in detection. But the presence of such a device on Titan remained uncertain, adding another layer of complexity to the mission. Furthermore, neither the U.S. Coast Guard nor Canada possessed underwater vessels capable of effectively aiding in the search and rescue efforts. The U.S. Navy's Deep Submergence Rescue Vehicle could not reach the depths, potentially harboring Titan, and swift transportation of remotely operated vehicles proved extremely challenging. Days passed and the tension grew. On June 20, the pipeline ship, Deep Energy, arrived at the site, carrying remotely operated vehicles and other equipment designed for extreme seabed depths. The U.S. Coast Guard's tireless efforts continued, but it Seemed like a needle in a haystack situation. Then on June 22 a glimmer of hope emerged. The Canadian flagged offshore tugboat MV Horizon deployed Odyssey's 6K remotely controlled vehicle. This vehicle was capable of reaching the seafloor and commenced its search for the missing submersible. The French also joined the effort, deploying the Victor 6000 remotely controlled vehicle, which could transmit images back to the surface. And there it was, a breakthrough amidst the darkness. The Horizon Arctic's remotely operated vehicle made a grim discovery, a debris field near the Titanic wreck containing pieces confirmed to be part of the Titan. The submersible's loss was due to the pressure chamber exploding, leaving behind fragments on the seafloor. Heartbreaking news followed. Admiral MG expressed uncertainty about the likelihood of recovering the bodies of the 5 crew members. The inhospitable depths made it highly unlikely the crew likely perished on June 18, 2023, before potential SOS signals were detected. That is interesting. SOS is effectively a Morse code distress signal. So that puts more detail on it, not just tapping, but if it was an SOS, then that shows that the passengers on board the submersible are still very much alive. The implosion of the submersible would have generated a significant broadband sound that the sonar boys could have picked up. Margaret believed that the crew died instantly. As the realization sunk in, Oceangate issued a statement addressing the loss of life. The recovered debris included parts of the submersible, but the bodies of the 5 crew members may never be recovered. It was a devastating prospect, leaving the families of the victims in profound grief. The search and rescue operation had tested the limits of human capability and the resources available. The unforgiving environment of the deep sea, with its darkness and unimaginable pressure, had claimed the lives of the crew members. The ocean had swallowed them whole, leaving behind only fragments as a tragic reminder of their courageous but ill-fated expedition. However, there is one important question that remains unanswered. Do you believe that there might be a conspiracy theory at play aiming to eliminate the wealthy and influential individuals involved, or could it be as simple as the game controller running out of charge, leading to this devastating outcome? Alternatively, could the inadequacy of carbon fiber in handling external pressure be the root cause? We'd love to hear your thoughts on this in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and like. Always, with that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.